and what I can tell you about it is that if you dig the Mark Watney experience, this game is awesome. It starts you off with a few basic amenities like the inflatable set shelter, and you actually do start with an assault rifle, which I consequently lost, and we can't rebuild it as yet. The material required to do so isn't there. A little something about the game's running on my somewhat aged Athlon 6 core with 8 gig of RAM. It runs fine, but then I've got a 6950 Radeon, which is upper tier-ish, so I get a good, it's always down there in the lower right corner, I get a good 30-ish frames a second is my average, depending on even the most complicated. Now this runs on the Unity engine, which as most people will know is the same engine that runs the Forest, and the Forest is incredibly more dense in terms of the visuals than this. If your machine can handle the Forest reasonably well, you'll be fine with this. I only play the single player because I don't like the idea of getting shot randomly or driven over was the other one, so I stuck to the single player for the time being. Now the whole thing about mining resources and so forth, that's all good and well, and then of course there's the building structures, and that takes a while after you have to, there's things like the forge and so on and so forth, and even furniture. You actually have to build your own bed, which is strange, but there you go, the chem lab and the fabricator, which is their crafting table. Anyway, I wasn't going to bore you with all of that, all the long-winded tasks that you have to go through in order to get your hands on the vehicles, so I actually did it earlier, as a la Blue Peter. Here's one I made earlier. My hab, I haven't finished it yet. I haven't built the barracks. I built the satellite dish because it looks fracking awesome. Now the stuff that I've built the kitchen, which is good. You can cook alien meat, and there are quite a few. The fauna in this game is quite varied. You get some great big stuff, which at the moment is infant. It's junior. I haven't seen any real big ones yet, but the game hunting in this for people who like PvE is awesome. Oh, I've still got a circuit board from earlier. Yep, and there's my kitchen, and then it's bedtime. Just save point really. Now there's a glitch at the moment with this build, which is the reason why whenever you plant stuff they disappear between saves. But it's going to be a lot of fun growing your own stuff. Whether or not it's done in excrement, I don't know. If you really do want the Mark Watney experience, I suppose you can gun for it. It's a lot of fun. Glass domes and so on and so forth. Anyway, that's sometimes you get stuck on the floor. There are bugs, as you'll get in an early release game. Some of the bugs are, I wouldn't necessarily say I'd say game debilitating, not game breaking, and quite a few of them can be solved by exiting the game, saving and then returning. You're usually okay at that point. Now over here I've got a few vehicles. Oh, one little tip that I actually have found: the auto walk key. If you run, see your stamina and oxygen goes down. Actually, just a second. As much as I love the music, it's probably inhibiting my ability to speak. Whenever you run, you use oxygen and stamina. You can run at what I measure to be nearly 20 kilometers an hour. Quite impressive. Your heart rate goes up, your suit temperature goes up. Eventually you get to the point where you can't run anymore. However, if you're planning long stints on foot, the till key next to 1 and above your tab on keyboard is your auto walk. Then, because you're not using your movement keys, hold down shift and you can sprint to your heart's content. You just steer yourself with the mouse. Infinite stamina. Can't go wrong. Whenever you want to stop, slap your S, brakes are on. Meet my rover. It's not a dog vehicle, but this one here, it's a like the NASA's electrical explorer programs and so forth. Basically, like a huge Pathfinder buggy, the rover that they sent up. It ain't too fast, but it's stable, and it's quite cool. However, even with its size, you drive over fauna, nothing happens. We'll be seeing some of them a bit later on. So, it's a nice vehicle to start off with, but it ain't a patch on what I'm about to show you. This is the Gav, which I think the AMV probably got something like armed vehicle. Now, we'll just skip the turret for a moment, and we'll go on the straight up fact that this is 6-wheeled, low profile, and watch the kilometers an hour. It shifts arse, and you can skip with it as well, which is kind of cool. The cannon's good. It actually mines, you know. You can go and pick them up. I've no idea if you can actually pick them up by driving over them. That's a point, that's a point, that's a point, that's a point. Well, some of it disappeared. No, doesn't. Okay, that experiment's over. Some of the effects, like you can see the water droplets on the top of the screen. I think I'm stuck on those urchins, and when I say urchins, I mean yes, they can actually harm you. Awesome. Demo fail. Right. Right. That's not a problem. Rover to the rescue. The weather effects in this are superb, but the effects on the visor, they're cumulative and they're consistent. It doesn't matter if you're indoors or outdoors, you still get them. But I don't really mind. This game's been in development for 5 years, and thus efforts so far, they've done really well. Really, really good job with it. So I'm actually looking forward to the updates and what is added to the game. The missions broke after I loaded in from a save, so I can't continue with them, but kind of like some of them were quite silly. Anyway. Oh, come on, man, I want to tractor it out of the way. No. I mean, at some point you'll be able to winch vehicles out of the way, which would be awesome. Okay, I'll have another stab at moving Gav. Can't shoot my way through. Look, these cannons actually, they're quite effective. Even when you set the toughness of enemies to quite high, they're still... Yeah. Here comes evening. Buggery. Okay, I got my vehicle stuck. That was kind of funny and stupid in a way. Switch the lights on. I'm gonna go see if this will work. I'm gonna crack it at full speed. No. Unstoppable force went through the immovable object. Hooray, physics. Again, both stuck on each other, that's going to be a win, isn't it? It looks like I might have achieved that goal already. Yeah. One vehicle looks like it's getting jiggy with the other. Oh, this is absolutely awesome! You know, on a scale of 1 to 10, this screw up is absolutely spectacular. Right, I fell on something there, probably one of those urchins. In which case you tape yourself up again. No, that's the rover. Gav. If the vehicle flips, you can, a la Halo, you can actually flip it back over again. I walked into another bloody urchin. I'm kind of hoping at some point you got the ability to deal with them. Anyway, there's still some daylight left, so I'm just going to do the pièce de résistance. Vehicles obviously cost to build. There's that little robot, the assistant, that helps you, but personally I haven't found it very useful other than the fact that it's a gun turret. Although I am going to try something, because you can tell it T, control and repair. If you'd be so kind, see if you can do anything with those vehicles. Y can no longer run. That's it. F, set target. Okay, that's going to see whether or not it can do anything with that one. Now, here be my spaceship. Now, when I say spaceship, I mean just that. First things first, let's just get it airborne. Piloting controls for this thing are actually quite good, considering. And then when you get the thrust, the hover thrust up, then it'll convert from like VTOL mode into flight mode. Now, there's a couple of things that I'd like to show you. I'm sure the floating rocks have got some kind of like avatar explanation to them as well, unobtainium or whatnot. Landscape is actually quite stunning. Regrettably, this vehicle has a fuel limit. It replenishes if you actually save the game, exit and come back in again, but that skeleton down there was from something else. Something enormous. There it is. Those solar panels down there are part of... Just got to find the rest of it without hitting into objects and stuffing the plane up in the process. There we go. I hope I'm not landing on top of it. There we go. Right. There's one of the creature features over there. Interesting looking beasties. This abandoned base, wow, look at the way I landed, is a nod to the movie The Martian. You can't repair it, unfortunately. It would have been a really, really cheap starter base. Anyway, one last stop. I think hover fuel actually uses more than regular flight fuel. Don't know, maybe it's like powering a grav sled or something like that. Hit that throttle. And there we are, we're in orbit. No, awesome. Yes, they even included a mock of the Ares, which looks absolutely brilliant. You can't dock with it or do anything with it. It's purely visual, but utterly stunning. Go back down. Ceramics on that thing have got to be impressive. Just take me back home. Fortunately, it's got that position marked as the spawn set. You can get there very quickly by air. Very quickly indeed. Well, that's me. Oh, stopping in the same neighbourhood as my other vehicles. Okay, I think I'll just set her down here actually. Whee! All vehicles, including that peculiar droid, can actually carry stuff. They've all got their own inventories, so you could do ferrying runs of gathering stuff. This is probably going to get slightly hilarious. You just blast it off. No, trapped. Try the rover again. Really wish I had something that had the ability to just bump them. And I'd be done. Okay, that's the rover free. That was a win. That was one of those little scrabbly bug things. Now, if we can free the rover, summarily, it makes sense that I should be able to free... by the way, oops, error. There are, on the suit that you have, hello, there's me, very fetching, how you doing? There's these little jump jets. Whee! It can make navigating certain situations very easy. Right, Gav. It's the thing of getting it to tilt violently enough that its axis changes, and then you get... Hello? Aye aye. Yay! Doink. So, driving in this requires greater care than I exercise. Anyway, time to go on a little bit of safari, see if we can find any of those critters that I mentioned earlier, while daylight's still good. They range in size to... There's one. Let's go and have a quick look at him. I am not going to go around blasting everything I see. That's somewhat grisly and rather unfair. He's here in the copper farming region, probably his territory that he's guarding. Now that one, that's a young crab monster. Now they actually get to frighteningly huge once they mature and they level up in the process too. Not something I really want to see a great deal of. Now, I haven't seen much in the way of like everything I've seen so far, with the exception of those. If you've watched Dune, you'll spot them straight away and go, oh look, nod to Dune, which is the huge sandwormy things that you usually get them on the jumping through the edges of craters, and they're rather frightening because if they land on you, they take you with them. Practically everything else, fauna-wise, is ground-based. Crawlies, walkies, slitheries. There are no flying ones. Something tells me they're going to probably add them further down the line, which would make this game somewhat terrifying for the. So I just mentioned there was no flying things, and I just see that thing drop out of the sky. Hooray for bugs! So that one's a bit bigger actually. You can also tame them. You can turn them into mounts and ride them, which for some people is going to be a complete blast. Chasing down your opponents in multiplayer on one of those things is just going to be so satisfying. Nutter hoot. Like Space Cowboy, literally. Oh dear, it's time to go Halo. Boink. Sorry, Chief. I just knocked him, so. Let's see if we can find. There's another one. Alright. You need to chase me all. Okie dokie. Get my vehicle lights on, actually, which is a nice effect that they've got the vehicle lights in this that work very nicely in the dark too. Oop, I appear to have stuck. Sorry about that, bud. Oh, there's those horrific little crawlies too. I have no idea exactly how much damage they can do to this vehicle. Just do a little experiment and see. Bonk. Bonk. Seemingly no impact upon the vehicle's health. I'm doing more damage to the vehicle by poor driving. I should be able to put a big L plate on this bugger. Turret glitch. Oh man. One upside, you may damage stuff quite a bit, vehicle and so forth, but it's carbon resource one need. But you get gases in this game through geysers. You need to build the barrels first. Come on, you can make it. Yeah. Now I don't know where the Watney location is. And that ping occasionally happens has got some relevance, but I don't know what it is. Still learning, like the rest of us. Ah, there it is. You see, you have a map. It's got the coordinates of long lap that you can use for navigating around with, which is kind of handy. Can't say I use it much. These guys are still chasing me. I mean, seriously? Alright, sorry about this. Whoa, it's a crawler. It was a crawler. Boink. That's huge compared to the base, the actual base in the marshes. The barracks are broken. It's like, as I said, if you could fix this up, it would be worth the resources because more than half of it's already there. You even got the laboratory where you can build vehicles. The thing, that's one other thing which I noticed is that planet in the background. It actually, its rotational axis change. It tilts it's not just like a static background. The clouds and stuff, they're, I don't know, probably like a plasma convolve that what makes it a simple cloud lab, but it's good. You know, gives the sky life. And that planetary, the rings of that planetary body there, which is probably a gas giant, it moves across the sky. Actually tilts and moves. It looks amazing, and it's always a good point of reference. And you got the other moons that rise and fall. Nighttime is when the critters come out to play. You do get them a lot at night, during the day as well, but at night they spawn. As I said, no matter how fast you floor it, you do no damage to them when you drive into them, which I think is a little bit silly. It might be coming further down the line, actually. Let's go and drive home. It's got the same music that you get. Dramatic. That you get when you these bloody things again. Ground urchins. Drive over those ones going like that. I'll drive around them, man. Whoop. Doink. Made it. There are cave systems in this as well. There are certain materials that you need for manufacturing. Like this, I needed to find diamonds for it, and I found some caves and was wandering around them for about 45 minutes and chanced upon diamonds and also lithium. So I marked that location and I came back to it. I think it's 1524, I believe. Is that my base down there? Can I actually see it lit up? He said, crashing into a rock. I can. And there we go. Time to flip. Lights on. Ba-dunk. Epic. And when you get back in, you gotta turn your lights on. Which way I'm facing the way, aren't I? Yeah. So, if you're in a rush, navigating at night, and again, navigating at night is can make the game a little bit on the arduous side to get safely from A to B. My rover is over there. God, the size of that ship. The inflatable dome can be taken with. It's like a tent. So if you need a safe point because you're miles away from somewhere safe, then you can use that. Also, it can give you respite if you're surrounded by critters. But if you build a gav, which is actually less resources, albeit you need diamonds, it's less resources to build than the actual rover is. And it comes with a cannon, and it's faster, and it carries the same amount of stuff. But it does have health. But that's not really a problem because you come with a multi-tool. The multi-tool can repair the gav without using any resources. So it's kind of like the point is moot. You're better off using this vehicle. And the lights go off every time you get in it. I wouldn't mind if it came with a turret light as well. That'd be awesome. Doesn't look like it's contacting the ground properly. And it's not. It'd be awesome if you could use it as a dropship and like carry a vehicle as well. Does remind me a little bit of the great big delta-shaped shuttle from Avatar, a little bit. Yep. So this is where I've made my home. See, you see the ring system there. See, it's like it's tilting. Awesome, love it. So, visually, very nice game. The glitching effect that you get is like makes it feel like you're watching found footage. There's kind of every so often recorded glitches out, but It's such a lot of fun. It can be laborious and it can be slow, having to mine resources and so on and do a lot of footwork, but as I said, as long as that little glitch exists, yeah, I got me some meat. Time for a roast. As long as that little glitch exists that you can auto run, you tap auto walk and then just hold down shift, as I said, you use none of your oxygen, get all stamina gets used up. Repress. Ooh, cook me some meat. Yes, please. Easy. Nutrients. Tweak. There you are. Done. The one thing I haven't done yet is build a water reclaimer, which I'm going to have to get to, because I also need a barracks. Because glitch it. The war wreck is important. Oh, hello. I think we've hit a bug wall here somewhere. Just go back into first person. Can't do anything. There's not gonna be any no, I was kind of hoping for some spuds or some carrots. Do like it. Ah! I believe you can hear Chris's. What have we got? Yeah. It's that weird... What the hell is that thing? You can actually shoot it with this, which is cool. Defend your base. Shut up. Pulse pistol is awesome. Requires no ammunition. It's a charged weapon. The assault rifle is a great comfort when you start the game. It's like, yeah, I've got a rifle. But it uses ammunition that is absolutely a bugger to manufacture when you start off with. Unless you're dedicating all of your time and efforts towards manufacturing new stuff. Manufacturing ammunition so that you've got like new stock with you all the time. I feel that that's a good way of doing it. Is it morning already? Whoa! And it does come with jump scares. Was not expecting that bugger there, but it did. Get my help. It did actually make me jump. Whoa. Ah. No, you don't. Oh, speeding it. I enjoy the sun coming up. Almost edge on there. Damn, it's good to look at. Right. I'll go for a quick fly before I draw this one to a close. See if I can get out. Oh, look at that. Whacking great big worm that I mentioned earlier. Whoops, and had to hit the ground at some point. Still exploring, still learning. Obviously the game is still evolving, which is awesome. I'm going to be honest. There've been quite a few games that have looked the part, and they've been released and been horrific disappointments. I don't really feel like totally beating on it, but No Man's Sky springs straight to mind, which is a real shame actually, because the first release of that, it wouldn't even run on my AMD, and that was like almost inexcusable that it wouldn't even run on every kind of like a processor platform. I understand. Oh, hello. Spawning from the sky again. I understand if it's not compatible with certain processors because they're not capable of running it, but ones that are more than handy enough that the code just doesn't want to play ball with it. That's a bit of a sin in my book where programming is concerned. I think I'm just over my base now, so I'll just touch down and bid you adieu. But I hope you've enjoyed it. It's Gliese 581, I think it is. This supposedly this planet, which is a celestial body not too far away from Earth. Exactly how far I don't know. I've not got a tape measure, but near future or distant future technology will get us there. Who knows? Package trip? Probably not. These guys obviously came tooled up. Do we park better this time? The dust storms, man. Woo, look at that. And these are dust storms like you actually do get on Mars, not like the ones in The Martian, which were a little bit overstated. You know, the worst hurricanes, the worst storms on Mars, not much more than a pretty gusty breeze here. That's fact. Anyway. 1 minute 5 seconds. Anyway, I am going to leave it here. So, thanks a lot for joining us, and hopefully we'll be doing more of this in the future.